Hello, I'm Frizzell, and this is the commentary to the preview for Norman's book. That logo at the start was made by a friend. I never actually checked it before I put it on, and upon seeing it in the final thing, it actually cuts off on some TVs, but oh well. There's a lot of effect shots at the start. This wasn't for any particular reason. I just noticed after a while that there's a lot of digital effects there. I mean, there's snow, and that whole thing's made of CGI components. These initial scenes here that we can see, I wanted them to look quite warm, almost like a safe haven from the weather outside. And this contrast later on in the film. I think the film at the start's got quite a serious look at the start, and I think it's like this while the characters are being introduced, and I think it sets the tone for the rest of the film. That shot there is actually from later on in the film, but I decided to put it there just to show you what's going on weather-wise. This scene actually, when we recorded it, didn't have any audio, apart from Chris's lines there. So April and Norman's shots are silent, as you can see. There was obviously more to them before. The scene's quite bright. I've done this because it's a character relationship building scene, in the way that the characters are getting to know each other, and you know, they're having a good time.
I'm not into all that dumb lovey-dovey stuff, you know. I mean, music's a powerful tool.
The song Arctic Valentine was two band names merged together that were annoying me at the time, because I found Chris can be quite an annoying character. Ideally, looking at these shots now, I would have perhaps wanted a shorter depth of field, so that background's really out of focus, and it would really bring out the characters. And you can see some tinsel in the right hand corner of April shot, but that's because it was filmed at Christmas. But yeah, just a smaller depth of field really would have, I felt, bring the characters out a bit. I mean, I've got objects in the foreground there, like Chris's knee and April's thing, you know, to give it depth to the picture. But I think, you know, to really get them out from the picture, you know, you'd want that smaller depth of field. These scenes are supposed to be in the morning, and I think they've got quite a friendly look to them, which I like. Continuing on from last night, again, it's the characters really, you know, forced to be in the same place together when Norman doesn't really want them to be. I don't know, I think April and Chris are enjoying it, but they're still getting to know each other, and you know, they're quite friendly. I think Norman's got quite good tolerance for Chris. The tone suddenly changes here. This really is setting up for the rest of the film. It becomes quite darker. That's not actually a real Ouija board. Depth field's nice in that shot. The Ouija board scene took a very, very long time to film, because I wanted to get it from lots and lots of different angles for loads of options in editing. And I mean, I didn't even use them all for it, but we did. The amount of shots we went through, and we covered it from every possible angle. It's quite a serious. Well, I think it's serious linking on to the rest of the film, but I think beforehand it's quite light-hearted, because Norman is playing around with the scene, because I think that he's only doing it because he wants research for his book. Well, at least that's what he tells them, but I think that maybe perhaps he's actually quite intrigued by it. I think the colours are just about right in this scene. I think it's how it should look, being quite warm, but you know, dark enough that something's going to happen. That shot was just done by switching the light off, and the only lighting in the scene from then on is the candles. When we tried with more lighting, it just didn't. It just looked too bright. That bit there without the sound was no, with the sound, sorry, is was done on set with a microphone, and the lines were just read out. That was a jib shot there at the start of that shot, which I feel helps introduce that scene quite well.
Yeah, sorry, we were doing silly.
Quite happy with the dialogue in this scene.
Wait a second. You weren't messing.
It's the longest in terms of dialogue in the whole film, I think.
At the risk of sounding
And
stereotypical,
it could have gone two ways. It could have been very boring, or it could, you know, really draw the audience in. I think it does. It does draw the audience in. I think. It just does get a bit more intense towards the end, and then kind of an anticlimax, which I do like doing. But this scene, unfortunately, I put it on a tripod to film Frank's angle there. I was feeding him his lines, so I set up the picture, put it on the tripod, fed him his lines, not looking at the camera, and the camera's on the tripod was not quite tight enough, and it was tilting back ever so slowly, so that's why the framing on Frank here isn't amazing. It's no, it cuts him off at the neck a bit awkwardly. Sometimes it doesn't look like that, it doesn't look too bad, but there's some cases where it doesn't look great. Fix that in post-production. Here's the first time we see the villain, and there's his henchman, really, Andre. I used a wide angle of Andre there. I filmed it for several, but I just like the wide angle version.
What do you mean?
They're actually talking to another character, Leon, here, whose scenes are still missing, and I'm hoping to get done quite soon. I noticed there's a lot of smoking in this part of the film. I think this is because, you know, the whole smoking ban was a big thing at the time, and, you know, subconsciously might have gone into it a bit, so all the characters are smoking. Not that I'm for or against it, or either way, I haven't got an opinion on it really. And then we have these bright scenes here again. I think this is just kind of, because a new character, Frank, has been introduced to the others, you know, we can go back to that original element. There's a barn doubling for a cellar with Leon, one of the few scenes we actually have with Leon. And then that focus there on Frank was really done to, you know, show the level of drunkenness he is experiencing at the time. He actually goes to try a light bulb here, and then he figures out it's not working. But he goes down, and there's a struggle with Leon in the cellar. Gonna have to fill that out a bit more once we've got Leon back. And then Leon throws a knife in his back, which is still yet to be filmed, but struggling with being able to get hold of the original actor. Leon again should be in this scene, but I think it works enough with just the two characters talking to him like that. There's a nice depth field on that. This is Gabriel cutting himself as part of a ritual thing that he does in the film. I think that the effect works quite well with the blood. I wanted a really tight focus on that goblet there to show off the detail in, you know, the metal, the scratches and everything. And then there's the bronze plate, which is supposed to be an ancient relic. It's one of the few focus pulls in the film, but I don't know if that shot goes on for too long. I don't know. We see Gabriel at eye level now. I think I did this as a sign of him, you know, almost grabbing the reins on his evil plan. And there, that glass in the foreground, I suggest drinking. These are some of my favourite shots. The ones outside the church. With Gabriel and Andre entering the church, I really wanted this kind of slow pace to these. Gabriel's really taking his time here, and it's like he has full control over what he's doing, and, you know, it's almost as if he's going to try and take control of the church. I decided to break the 180-degree rule in this scene, I think, as a way of giving the scene almost, I don't know, realism perhaps. So the audience can see there's no camera behind him, as if this is actually happening, and the location is real. That shot there is done on a wheelchair, and I think it suffers from it personally. We couldn't get the tracking at the time.
My name is Gabriel Conrad. Exactly 700 years ago,
This part of Gabriel's speech was shot on a lower quality mini DV camera, just to give a kind of, slightly lower quality internet broadcast look. Perhaps could be taken further. I don't know, I think it looks quite well. And then this fight in the church had to be done quite quickly, because we didn't have a lot of time, and was the only ones filmed with 2 cameras. And then Chris runs off, suggesting that he's going to go and help. But that's obviously not the end of the story. Anyway, thank you for listening.